Given what is now in the public domain, and especially uh, given the advice by Justice Frank Sipesad, where he encouraged citizens to record interactions with police officers, can you please inform the citizens what exactly are their rights and what they can do and what they cannot do?
Okay, so I'll start by saying that there's no legislation or specific policy within the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service um, that expressly prohibits citizens from taking photographs or video recordings of police officers in public spaces. Um, Government officials, including the former Minister of National Security, Fitzgerald Hines, have publicly stated that there is no law or police policy preventing members of the public from taking photographs or video recordings of police officers whilst they perform their duties. But there is a balancing act when a citizen does so. Whilst the right to record is not absolute, a line must be drawn, and citizens, in my view, should record from a safe distance and be careful not to obstruct a police officer in the performance of his duties or their operations, because then they can be liable to be charged, as the obstruction of a police officer in the execution of their duties is a separate offense under the Police Service Act, and you can be fined for up to $10,000 or imprisoned for 2 years, depending on the circumstances. So in my view, citizens should be mindful that in their quest for video footage or photographs, their actions do not amount to harassment, since this is also a chargeable offense under the Offences Against the Person Act. So harassment indeed comprises of actions which can cause distress or alarm, and it's about your manner and how you conduct yourself rather than the actual act of recording. So as I said, it's a balancing exercise, and police concerns, they can raise concerns on their end about officer safety, operational integrity, public orders. Those are legitimate concerns. So officers must be able to perform their duties safely and effectively. However, these concerns, it does not justify, in my view, a blanket ban on recording. In the recent decision of Justice C. Prasad in Corporal Elton King and Marvin Burke, Justice C. Prasad emphasized that recording officers in the public is not a crime. So he emphasized that again, so it's reiterated. And he criticized police officers for overstepping their authority. And in that case, it's where two men, they were unlawfully detained for recording an arrest. And of course, they were compensated in that particular case for unlawful detention. And in that particular case, the learned judge underscored the legitimacy of citizens recording and the role that such recordings play in safeguarding the rights of citizens. So this decision is significant. It's not merely for its outcome, but it's also for the recognition that public scrutiny of law enforcement is legitimate and it's necessary. There are also independent bodies such as the Police Complaints Authority, and they have long clarified that the recording of police conduct is not in itself unlawful, and that although they caution that recordings should be done at your own risk, they also stated it must be done without interfering with the police duties.